What if the next camera you buy doesn't even look like a camera anymore? That is the question shaking up the industry as the Nikon Z4 rumors heat up for 2026. For years, we have seen minor updates and safe refreshes. But this time, it feels different. We are looking at a device that could completely change how we define an entry-level full-frame camera. Imagine a body with no viewfinder hump and almost no physical buttons. It looks more like a high-end lifestyle gadget than a piece of professional gear. Today, we are breaking down everything we know about the Z4 and its powerhouse sibling, the Z6 IV. We will explore why Nikon is taking such a massive risk and if this is truly the future of photography or just a very bold experiment. The story of the Z4 actually started with some strange patent filings back in 2023. At first, the sketches confused everyone. They showed a full-frame camera with a flat top and a layout that looked almost unfinished. Now, those early concepts are finally making sense. The Z4 is rumored to be built around what Nikon calls the iCamera concept. This is a hybrid between a traditional camera and a modern app-driven device. Nikon isn't designing this for photographers who grew up with heavy DSLRs. They are designing it for the generation that grew up with smartphones. They want to capture the creators who find traditional cameras too bulky and intimidating. When you look at the rumored design, the shift is obvious. The Z4 is expected to be incredibly compact. It will likely be closer in size to the APS-C Z50 than a traditional full-frame body. By removing the electronic viewfinder, or EVF, Nikon saves a huge amount of space. This creates a flat, rangefinder-style form that slides easily into a small bag. The back of the camera is dominated by a large, high-resolution articulating touchscreen. This becomes your primary interface for everything. On the top plate, there is a small secondary display for your exposure settings. It is a classy nod to vintage film cameras, but built for a modern, touch-first workflow. It feels like Nikon is asking a simple question: what if we remove everything that isn't essential? But don't let the minimalist exterior fool you. The internals of the Z4 are anything but basic. It is expected to feature a refined 24-megapixel full-frame sensor. While that resolution sounds familiar, the real power comes from the processor. Rumors suggest the Z4 will run on the EXPEED 7 chip. That is the same brain found in Nikon's flagship Z9. This means you get advanced subject detection and world-class autofocus tracking in a tiny body. You can expect burst speeds between 8 and 11 frames per second. It also brings 4K video features aimed directly at content creators who want a lightweight setup that doesn't sacrifice quality, of course. A camera this small at a price point between $700 and $1,200 requires some trade-offs. The biggest omission is in body image stabilization, or IBIS. Nikon plans to handle this by releasing a new line of compact VR lenses. This keeps the camera body thinner and much more affordable. For some, losing the EVF and IBIS is a deal breaker. For others, the portability and simplicity are worth the sacrifice. This is part of a bigger strategy. Nikon is dividing its lineup into clear lanes. You have the flagships like the Z9 for pros, the Z5 Mark II for traditionalists, and now this new category of minimal, creator-focused tools, while the Z4 focuses on simplicity. The Z6 for rumors for 2026 are all about dominance. If the rumors are true, this isn't just an update. It is an escalation. The Z6 III was a great camera, but it had its limits. The 24.5 megapixel sensor started to feel small compared to competitors offering 33 megapixels. Landscape and wedding photographers wanted more room to crop. There was also a slight noise penalty in the shadows due to the partially stacked sensor. The Z6 IV aims to fix all of that. The strongest reports suggest a jump to a 33.3 megapixel stacked CMOS sensor. This would be a massive game changer. It eliminates the compromise between speed and resolution. The Z6 IV is also expected to inherit an EXPEED 8 processor. This brings what insiders call human intent autofocus. It is a predictive AI system that doesn't just track eyes. It understands the flow of a scene. It can anticipate movement before it happens. This would make it one of the most reliable cameras on the market for solo shooters. Then, there is the influence of RED. Since Nikon acquired the legendary cinema camera brand, everyone has been waiting to see that tech in a mirrorless body. We are hearing whispers of internal 6K open gate recording and uncropped 4K at 120p. Open gate video is a dream for creators because it allows you to crop for both TikTok and YouTube from the same file. However, this creates what we call the Z8 paradox. If the Z6 IV is too good and stays under $3,000, it might hurt sales of the more expensive Z8. Nikon has to balance this carefully. If they limit the performance too much, users will be frustrated. If the price goes too high, it loses its identity as the sweet spot hybrid. Regardless, Nikon feels bold again. They are no longer playing catch-up. They are innovating at the top and the bottom of the market at the same time. The Z4 represents freedom from complexity, while the Z6 IV represents a refusal to compromise. In my opinion, the Nikon Z4 is the most exciting project in years. We have enough standard cameras. We need something that challenges how we interact with technology. If Nikon can make a full-frame camera that feels as intuitive as an iPhone but produces professional-grade images, they will win over an entire generation of new creators. On the other hand, the Z6 IV is poised to become the ultimate workhorse for professionals who need a compact body that can do everything. Nikon is betting on variety, and it looks like that bet is going to pay off. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of Nikon, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Share the video with your fellow photographers and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on the latest gear rumors. What do you think? Would you trade your viewfinder for a lighter camera? Let us know in the comments below.